How to build wealth for beginners. Let me ask you a question. What if wealth wasn't something reserved for the elite, but something designed for you? What if building wealth had less to do with how much money you make and more to do with how much you understand money? Today isn't just another talk about saving pennies and clipping coupons. This is about unlocking a new mindset, one that shifts you from survival to overflow. If you're tired of working hard and still coming up short, then it's time to stop chasing paychecks and start building principles. Wealth is not a fantasy, it's a formula. And once you get the formula, the numbers will follow. Let's break this down from the ground up. No fluff, just truth. Wealth doesn't begin in your bank account, it begins in your belief system. When most people hear the word wealth, they instantly picture numbers on a screen, luxury cars, big homes, or maybe even stacks of cash. But what if I told you none of that is where wealth truly begins? You see, wealth is not birthed in your wall. It is conceived in your mind. Your belief system is the soil where your financial future is planted. If the soil is full of fear, scarcity, and self-doubt, then no matter what strategies or side hustles you chase, you will keep coming back to the same place, empty. That's because your outer world will always reflect your inner world. If you believe deep down that money is evil, that success is for other people, or that you were meant to just survive, you will subconsciously sabotage every opportunity to prosper. Your bank account is simply a mirror of what's going on in your belief account. Think about it. How many people win the lottery, come into a large inheritance, or experience a sudden spike in income, only to lose it all within a few years? It's not because they didn't have the money, it's because they didn't have the beliefs to sustain the money. That's why the first step in building wealth is to upgrade your mindset. You have to rewrite the internal script playing in your head every day. The average person is walking around with money trauma, generational scarcity, and a mindset shaped by lack. We were taught to work hard for money, but never taught how to make money work for us. We were taught to get a job, not build assets. We were trained to fear failure instead of being coached to embrace growth. So if we're going to talk about building wealth as a beginner, we have to start with your thoughts, because the wealthiest thing you'll ever own is your mind. One of the most dangerous beliefs a beginner can have is the belief that wealth is for them and not for me. That voice in your head says, I didn't grow up with money, so I'll never have it, or I'm not smart enough, connected enough, or educated enough. But let me be real with you, money doesn't care about your background. It cares about your belief and your behavior. If you believe you are worthy of wealth, you will begin to act in ways that attract it. You'll read different books. You'll spend time with different people. You'll start asking better questions, not can I afford it, but how can I afford it? Your belief system sets the ceiling for your earning potential, your investing potential, and your growth potential. The moment you start believing that abundance is your birthright, not a distant dream, is the moment you begin moving differently, because your mind will never allow your life to outperform your identity. Changing your belief system isn't easy. It's not some cute affirmation in the mirror. It's war. You have to confront the lies you've believed since childhood. You've got to kill the victim mindset that tells you you're stuck. You've got to silence the voices, both internal and external, that told you you'll never be wealthy. And then you've got to replace them with new, empowering beliefs. Start telling yourself, I am capable of building wealth. Money is a tool, not a master. My past doesn't dictate my future. These aren't just motivational phrases. These are reprogramming codes. Every time you say them, you are rewiring your brain to think like a wealth builder. And once your thoughts change, your actions will follow. I've seen people with no college degree, no wealthy parents, and no business background rise to financial freedom, not because they found the perfect stock or the perfect strategy, but because they shifted their identity. They stopped seeing themselves as broke, as struggling, as stuck. They saw themselves as stewards of wealth, even when the bank account said $14.73. That's the power of belief. It allows you to operate today based on where you're going, not where you are, and that mental shift alone is enough to change the trajectory of your entire life. Now let's be clear, belief alone won't make you rich. You can't manifest millions by meditating on a mountain, but belief is the engine behind every Action that matters. When you believe you're meant to build wealth, you seek knowledge, you take bold steps, you invest in yourself, you stop playing small, you stop letting fear dictate your financial decisions, and slowly but surely, those new beliefs start compounding into new results. Before long, the person who once doubted their ability to even save $100 becomes the person managing six figures in assets, building multiple income streams, and helping others do the same. So here's the truth. If you don't fix your beliefs, nothing you build will last. You can learn budgeting, investing, real estate, crypto, or stocks, but if you still believe you're broke, you'll find a way to return to being broke. Wealth doesn't start with strategy, it starts with self-image. And the beautiful part is, you don't need anyone's permission to change that image. You can decide today to start thinking like the person you want to become, because once your mindset shifts, your money will too. Money flows to value, so become a person of value before chasing the bag. Let's set the record straight right now. Money doesn't chase people, it chases value. If you're constantly running after money and it feels like it's always running away from you, there's a reason. You're running in the wrong direction. Most people spend their whole lives trying to get rich, trying to earn more, trying to climb ladders and chase opportunities. But here's the truth: wealth doesn't come to the person who wants it most. It comes to the person who creates the most value. Money is simply a reward, a certificate of impact, a measure of how effectively you've solved problems for others. So if you're serious about building wealth, you have to stop focusing on the money and start focusing on becoming a person that money is magnetized to, and that happens when you become a person of value. Let's be real, there is no shortage of money in this world. There's trillions moving every day from businesses, governments, banks, and consumers. The question isn't, where is the money? The question is, why hasn't it found its way to you? And the answer usually comes down to this: you haven't yet positioned yourself as someone who solves a meaningful problem in a powerful way. See, people don't get paid based on how hard they work, they get paid based on how valuable their work is. A person digging ditches under the sun might be sweating buckets, but they're not going to outearn someone who builds systems that save companies millions. That's not unfair, that's economics. Value is the key that unlocks wealth. So stop asking, how can I make more money? And start asking, how can I become more valuable? Being valuable doesn't mean being famous, it doesn't mean being perfect, it doesn't even mean being the best in the world. It means solving a problem so well that people are willing to pay to make that problem go away. Think about every dollar you've ever spent, whether you bought a burger, paid your phone bill, hired a coach, or got your car repaired. Every dollar left your wallet because someone offered a solution you considered worth paying for. So how do you flip the script and make dollars flow to you? Simple. You identify a problem, develop a skill, and offer a solution in a way that others can't or won't. This is where most beginners miss it. They think money is about hustle. They think if they grind harder, wake up earlier, work longer hours, the money will come. But hustle without value is just exhaustion. Don't be the person working 60 hours a week on low value tasks wondering why your income hasn't changed. Be the person who invests 10 hours a week becoming a master at solving a valuable problem, because when you master that, the market will reward you, often beyond your imagination. The world doesn't pay you for effort, it pays you for impact. Now, let's talk about how you become valuable. You don't need to invent the next iPhone or create the next viral app. What you need is a mindset of service and skill development. Start by asking yourself, whose life can I make easier, faster, better, cheaper, more fun, or more secure? Then look at what skills you need to learn to make that happen. Maybe it's communication, maybe it's copywriting, maybe it's sales, marketing, coding, coaching, or organizing. Whatever it is, value is always tied to the solution you bring. And here's the kicker: your skill doesn't have to be elite to be valuable. You just need to be consistent, committed, and a little better than the next person at solving that specific problem. And don't fall into the trap of thinking your job title defines your value. It doesn't. There are people who flip burgers that eventually own franchises because they didn't just show up, they leveled up. They learned the business, solved more problems, and positioned themselves for ownership. No matter where you start, you can always increase your value by increasing your capacity. And as your value increases, your income, your opportunities, and your freedom increase with it. That's the formula. Build value, then income follows, not the other way around. But here's what separates those who stay stuck from those who rise: intentionality. Value doesn't just appear, it's cultivated. You've got to study, you've got to practice, you've got to ask for feedback, you've got to improve, you've got to stop chasing money and start chasing mastery. You don't attract wealth by running faster, you attract wealth by standing taller in your gift. When you become someone who makes things better, smoother, clearer, more effective, money will find you. In fact, you'll be turning opportunities down because you won't have time to say yes to them all. And here's the part most people never realize. When you become a person of value, you don't just make more money, you become irreplaceable. People remember you, they refer you, they pay you premium because true value is rare. It's not about being flashy, it's about being effective. So whether you're a coach, a cleaner, a coder, or a creative, when you do what you do with excellence, enthusiasm, and impact, you set yourself apart. And that's when money becomes a byproduct of who you are, not something you constantly have to pursue. So if you're just starting on your wealth journey, hear this clearly. Don't obsess over the income goal, obsess over the impact goal. The greater your impact, the greater your income. The deeper your service, the wider your wealth. Focus less on the bag and more on becoming the kind of person the bag chases down. Because once you understand how to become valuable, you'll never have to beg for money. Money will start begging for you. You don't need more money, you need more wisdom about money. One of the biggest myths keeping people stuck in financial struggle is the idea that the answer to all their problems is more money. More money sounds like the solution, but it's not the root fix, because money without wisdom is like giving a match to a child in a room full of gasoline. It doesn't matter how much money flows into your life. If you don't have the understanding of how money works, how to manage it, multiply it, and protect it, you'll lose it. That's why you can increase your income and still stay broke. That's why people win the lottery and end up bankrupt. That's why some people earn six figures for years and still live paycheck to paycheck. The problem is not the amount of money, it's the lack of wisdom governing the money. And if you want to build lasting wealth as a beginner, you've got to stop chasing money and start pursuing financial wisdom like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Wisdom about money is what separates the rich who stay rich from the rich who lose it all. It's what makes the difference between a person who builds wealth once and a person who builds wealth generationally. Wisdom teaches you that money isn't just for spending, it's for planting, stewarding, and multiplying. See, if all you know how to do with money is spend it, you're not building wealth, you're just renting a lifestyle. You can dress rich, drive rich, vacation rich, and still be broke. Real wealth is invisible. It's the money you don't see, the investments, the assets, the cash flow, the equity, the freedom, and to get there, you need more than hustle, you need understanding. Now let's be honest, most of us weren't taught this. We were taught how to earn, maybe how to save a little, but very few of us were taught how to manage cash flow, analyze investments, build credit, structure a business, or leverage tax advantages. We weren't trained in the language of money, so we grow up speaking the language of lack, not the language of leverage. And when you're financially illiterate, every dollar you earn is at risk. Without wisdom, you'll mismanage your money, trust the wrong people, fall for scams, live above your means, and miss golden opportunities, all because you never learned how money actually moves. That's why gaining wisdom about money has to become your new obsession. And wisdom doesn't mean you have to become a financial advisor or investment banker. It means learning the principles that govern money, the timeless truths that apply whether you're making $1,000 a month or $100 100,000. Like this, money flows where it's respected. If you don't track your money, budget your money, and assign your money, don't be surprised when it disappears. Like this, assets feed you, liabilities bleed you. If what you're buying doesn't pay you back or increase in value, it's a liability no matter how nice it looks. Like this, you can't outturn bad habits. If your spending grows as fast as your income, you'll never build margin, and without margin, there's no wealth. These are the kind of truths wisdom gives you, truths that protect you and elevate you. Financial wisdom also teaches you that money has seasons. There's a time to sow, a time to grow, a time to reap, and a time to reinvest. Beginners often get discouraged when they don't see instant results, but wisdom reminds you wealth is built over time, not overnight. The people who win in the long run are the ones who learn to respect the process. They don't just want the fruit, they study how to care for the roots. They read books, they ask questions, they listen to mentors. They build habits because they understand that money is not just paper, it's a tool. And when you know how to use it, it becomes a servant instead of a master. Wisdom also reveals the power of saying no. You learn that every dollar you spend is a seed, and every seed has a future. When you get wise, you stop trading your financial future for short-term pleasure. You stop keeping up with people who aren't even going where you're going. You stop using money to impress people and start using money to empower your purpose. Wisdom shifts your perspective. You no longer see money as a status symbol, you see it as a strategy for freedom. You don't spend to escape, you spend to elevate. You start thinking long term. That's what separates consumers from wealth creators. And here's the good news, wisdom is free, but it's not cheap. You've got to invest your time, your attention, and your humility. You've got to admit what you don't know and go get it. You don't have to be born rich. You don't need a fancy degree. You just need to commit to the journey of financial education. Read the books, watch the right videos, ask the uncomfortable questions, and apply what you learn. Because knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is. Wisdom without action is just information, but wisdom in motion, that's what transforms lives. So if you're serious about building wealth as a beginner, don't ask, how can I make more money? Ask, how can I make money work for me? Ask, what don't I know that's keeping me broke? Ask, how can I use what I have right now to start building? Because once you gain wisdom about money, you realize you didn't need a raise. You needed a revelation. You didn't need another job. You needed another approach. You don't build wealth by wishing. You build wealth by understanding. And the moment you stop chasing more and start seeking wisdom is the moment your money starts working harder than you ever will. Multiply your income by mastering a skill, not by multiplying your hustle. Let's break the lie that's keeping too many people stuck in a cycle of exhaustion. Hustling harder does not automatically make you wealthier. Working 14-hour days, juggling 5 side hustles, burning out just to stay afloat. It's glorified in culture, but it's not wealth strategy. It's survival mode with better branding. Let me say it plain. If hustle alone made people rich, the hardest workers in the world would be the wealthiest. But that's not what we see, is it? Because the truth is this: you don't multiply your income by multiplying your hustle. You multiply it by mastering a skill. A high-income skill, refined with excellence, is worth more than 1,000 hours of random effort. If you want to build real, scalable wealth, you've got to stop trying to do more and start trying to do better by becoming world-class at one thing that solves a valuable problem. You see, the hustle trap is loud. It screams, do more, sleep less, take every gig. Don't stop. It flatters your ego, makes you feel productive, but slowly drains your time, your focus, and your creativity. And here's the punch in the gut. You can hustle for years and still never escape the financial hamster wheel, because hustle earns in direct proportion to your time. It's transactional. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't eat. That's not freedom. That's glorified employment, even if you work for yourself. But when you master a skill, that skill becomes an asset. It begins to earn for you, open doors for you, attract clients, create leverage, and position you to scale. That's when your income starts to multiply, not because you added more hours, but because you added more value per hour. Let me give it to you straight. Nobody pays top dollar for general effort. They pay top dollar for precise, powerful results. A jack of all trades may stay busy, but a master of one will get rich. Whether it's copywriting, coding, design, negotiation, marketing, video production, sales, or systems strategy, it doesn't matter the industry. What matters is your depth. Wealth flows to the expert, not the multitasker. So if you're constantly switching tasks, jobs, or business ideas hoping one will pop, pause. What if the problem isn't that nothing works? What if the problem is you haven't stayed still long enough to become dangerous at something? The real money isn't in doing more, it's in doing one thing so well that the marketplace can't ignore you. Now, let's be clear. Mastery doesn't mean perfection. It means deep competence, consistent improvement, and results that speak louder than your resume. And here's the secret. Mastery is available to everyone, but most people won't pursue it. Why? Because it's not sexy. Mastery requires repetition, feedback, rejection, failure, boredom, and patience. It means saying no to distractions so you can say yes to discipline. Most people want speed, not substance, but speed without direction leads to burnout. Substance, skill, and strategy lead to wealth. So if you're serious about multiplying your income, the question isn't how many hustles can I handle. The question is, what one skill can I sharpen so well that it cuts through the noise of the market? And once you choose that skill, you go all in. You study, you practice, you take online courses, read books, watch tutorials, ask for feedback and apply every single day, even when it's hard, even when you feel like quitting, even when it doesn't look like it's paying off yet. Because investment in yourself will eventually compound in a way that hustle never could. And here's the beautiful part. Once you master one skill, that confidence carries into everything else. You begin to believe in your ability to solve problems. You stop feeling like an imposter. You stop undercharging. You stop begging for opportunities and start attracting them, because the market doesn't reward effort. It rewards excellence. Excellence makes people seek you out. It allows you to raise your prices. It earns you referrals. It puts you in rooms where hustle can't buy you a seat. Mastery also gives you options. When you become known for doing one thing incredibly well, opportunities chase you. You're no longer dependent on one job or one client. You can license your skill, teach your skill, build a business around your skill, or partner with others and expand. One mastered skill can become a foundation for multiple streams of income, but it starts with focus. So choose your lane, go deep, not wide, because wide gets attention, deep gets paid. Now let's talk about mindset, because this shift from hustle to mastery doesn't just require new habits, it requires a new identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as a grinder and start seeing yourself as a specialist. You're not just trying to make it. You're a problem solver, a solution provider, a master in progress. When you show up with that energy, people feel it. You move different. You speak with clarity. You serve with confidence, because you know you bring value, not just effort. And let me tell you this, your gift, your brilliance, your wealth potential, it's not buried under 18 side hustles, it's buried under distraction. When you slow down long enough to go deep, you'll discover your edge, and that edge is what the market pays for. Stop trying to be everywhere, doing everything. Pick your lane, own it. Get so good that your results speak for you, because hustle fades, but mastery lasts. So as a beginner, here's the most powerful thing you can do to multiply your income. Stop trying to be busy and start becoming brilliant. Stop saying yes to every opportunity and start saying yes to the right opportunity, the one that aligns with your skill building journey. You don't need another hustle. You need a high income skill. You need focus. You need a target. And you need the discipline to stick with it long enough to see fruit, because once you build mastery, the game changes. You stop working for money and money starts working for you. That's the shift from hustle to wealth. The real wealth is time freedom, not just financial freedom. Let's get to the heart of it. The reason you're chasing wealth isn't just about the money, it's about what the money is supposed to buy you, freedom, but not just the kind that looks good on Instagram or lets you flex on a beach for a weekend. I'm talking about time freedom, the power to control your own schedule, the authority to say yes when you want to and no when you need to, the ability to live life on your terms. Because here's what no one told you when you started this journey. You can be financially free and still be a prisoner to your own life if you don't have time freedom. You can have the car, the house, the income, but if every hour of your day is sold, if your mind is always racing, if your calendar owns you, then you're not truly wealthy. You're just busy with money, and the goal, my friend, is not to be busy, it's to be free. Financial freedom is a great milestone, don't get it twisted, it's crucial. It means your needs are met, your bills are paid, and you're not living under the pressure of survival. But time freedom, that's a different level. Time freedom is when you wake up in the morning and choose how you spend your energy. It's when you don't have to trade your hours for income anymore. It's when you don't have to fake energy for a job you hate or squeeze your passion into the leftover minutes of the day. It's when your calendar is aligned with your calling, not just your commitments. And that, right there, is the kind of wealth most people never experience. Not because it's unreachable, but because they never aim for it. See, society has programmed us to chase financial milestones, 6 figures, 7 figures, multiple streams, high ticket, and on and on. And listen, those things have value. But we rarely stop to ask, at what cost? Are you building income and losing your family? Are you stacking revenue but sacrificing your health? Are you grinding for success but missing the moments that make life meaningful? Because if your bank account is growing but your soul is shrinking, that's not wealth. That's slavery with a better paycheck. So let's make it clear, real wealth isn't just about how much money you make, it's about how much of you is left when the money shows up. Time freedom is the ultimate flex. It's not loud, it's not flashy. You don't need to post it to prove it. It's peace, it's presence. It's the ability to attend your child's recital in the middle of a weekday. It's taking a nap in the middle of the day without guilt. It's traveling when you feel like it, resting when your body says to, and building without burnout. It's doing work that excites you not because you have to, but because you choose to. And most importantly, time freedom gives you the space to do the inner work, the legacy work, the kind of work that outlives you. That's what wealth was always meant to produce. But let's be real. Most people don't pursue time freedom because it doesn't look impressive in the beginning. It requires structure. It requires systems. It requires you to build income that's not tied to your daily effort. And that's where the real discipline kicks in. See, trading time for money is easy to understand. You show up, you work, you get paid. But building time freedom requires you to create leverage. You have to build assets, businesses, brands, intellectual property, investments that keep moving even when you're not. You have to automate, delegate, outsource. You have to say no to things that waste your time, even if they pay well in the short term, so you can build the things that buy back your time long term. And that's a hard pill for most people to swallow because we've been trained to value busy over built. Now let me be clear, time freedom doesn't mean you never work. It means you're no longer trapped by obligation. You work when you want, how you want, with people you actually want to work with, and when it's time to rest, you rest fully without guilt. That's the wealth I want for you. Not the kind that chains you to a laptop, even if you're making millions. I'm talking about the kind of life where your values and your schedule match, where your business serves your life, not the other way around. So how do you build time freedom as a beginner? First, you have to redefine what success means to you. Forget the culture's version. Forget the highlight reels. Ask yourself, what does freedom look like for you? What does your ideal day feel like? Who are you with? What are you doing? How much space is there to breathe, to think, to live? Because that vision becomes your compass. And once you're clear on what you're building, you start creating income in ways that support it. That means getting serious about average skills. That means saying no to hustles that drain you. That means building systems, email funnels, digital products, content, or investing strategies that pay you even when you sleep. Passive income is not just a financial strategy, it's a freedom strategy. Second, you need to master the art of buying back your time. Every dollar you make is a decision. Do you buy more stuff or do you buy time? Do you hire help, delegate tasks, invest in automation, or do you stay stuck doing everything yourself because you're afraid to let go? Time freedom means recognizing that your minutes are more valuable than money and treating them that way. Outsource the $10 tasks so you can focus on the $10,000 ideas. Protect your calendar like a castle. Say no like your future depends on it, because it does. Third, build boundaries around your time like a fortress. Wealthy people aren't just rich in money, they're rich in clarity. They don't let everyone have access to their schedule. They don't chase every trend, respond to every email, or attend every event. They operate from a place of intention. That's how they protect their most valuable asset, time. And when you guard your time, you elevate your life. You stop reacting and start designing. You move with purpose. And the irony is, when you protect your time, you actually create more impact, because your energy is aligned, your focus is sharp, and your decisions are strategic. Let me wrap this with a truth you need to write on your heart. Money without time freedom is just a nicer prison. You didn't come here just to pay bills and die. You weren't born just to grind endlessly. You were created for abundance, not just financially, but in joy, peace, purpose, and time. So as you build wealth, don't just chase the bag. Build the blueprint for a life that allows you to live, because at the end of the day, no one looks back and says, "I wish I'd worked more hours." They say, "I wish I had more time." So don't just build income. Build a life that gives you time to be, to love, to rest, to create, to matter. Because that, my friend, is the real wealth.